All right, this is the Locked On Washington Football Team podcast. I'm Chris Russell along with David Harrison, and time now to be joined by the head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats, Mark Stoops, who, of course, developed and helped out Jamin Davis get to where he is as the number 19 overall pick. Done a great job at Kentucky. Coach, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Good to be on with you all, and always willing to talk about Jamin. Great young man and great football player, so always find a few minutes for him.
Absolutely. And Coach, before David gets a question in here, I guess let's start big picture with Jamin. How did he develop into what people kind of had him pegged as a third, maybe fourth round pick at the beginning of the year to a first round pick? How did he develop so quickly in your eyes this year?
Well, because he got better with each and every practice, every snap. We've been saying that for years with Jamin, but it was very evident this year. He had the opportunity. You know, we have a saying, a lot of people have said it, but when preparation and opportunity meet, good things are going to happen. And he prepared. He worked extremely hard for a long time. He had an opportunity. We needed him. We were very thin at that position. So Jamin had to play a lot of snaps. We needed him to stay healthy and have a big year. And he did that. And, he's just the type of guy, he's like a sponge. It's very important to him. You all got a great player in your program because he cares. There's a lot of good athletes, but he wants to win. He wants to do well for his teammates and therefore for himself. There's no question. He's very driven, but he's a great locker room guy. He'll be a great leader in that community. So, you just really got the whole package. But I would say the big thing is he had the opportunity and he got better with every practice, with every snap and each year. And certainly throughout the year, he was playing his best football at the end of the season.
Yeah, and Coach, I saw that you said you had talked to Jamin shortly before the draft and that he was feeling a little bit anxious, about the big day and about getting selected to the NFL. And you had told me he had done all the work, just like you mentioned to us as well. Obviously, the Washington football team agreed. Have you had a chance to talk to Jamin since then? Or his nerves, any more calm, or is he just kind of getting juiced for his NFL career to get kicked off?
Oh, I think he's getting very confident. I think he's getting very confident in a good way. He's staying hungry, working hard, but when I talked to him that morning, just, I've been there before with those guys in that room, and I wasn't with them this time because COVID and him staying at home. But I know it's an anxious time, and he did do it. He could definitely be very confident to know that he left it all out there. Every day he was here for us, he did everything he could to become a better man, become a better player. And that's all you can ask for. And leading up to the draft, it was the same way. He did what he does, and that's train, do things as good as he can, focus on every detail, work exceptionally hard in the meeting rooms and learning football. He still has a lot ahead of him. I think he's with a great organization, a great coach that will continue to develop him, and I'm just very excited for him.
Coach Mark Stoops of the University of Kentucky, nice enough to give us a few minutes here on the Locked On Washington Football Team podcast. Coach, Jamin, I think the plan here is to use him at the will. Maybe eventually he'll work inside to the mic. How do you see him? And I know your job is not necessarily to project where he'll fit in the NFL, but you know him best. How do you see him kind of transitioning, if that's kind of the transition plan, again, starting him at a week in a 4-3, and then eventually maybe moving him inside, or maybe just keeping him outside? How do you see that going?
I see him inside, but those are some very good coaches, and what fits their scheme, their needs. That's the nice thing about Jamin. I think that's one of the reasons why he went so high, is because he is very versatile. We had a need a few years back and played him some outside and certainly practiced him a lot outside. And he was becoming better and better as a rusher and doing some things. But he's got the length, he's got the explosiveness. He's certainly got a lot of upside, to play outside. But I love the length for him at inside linebacker. He's obviously very fast. You saw the numbers that he put up. I think he can play either inside position. And, but that's the nice thing about it is he can play a lot of positions. In the NFL, it's even, it's harder, it's more difficult than we have it because we carry 85 guys on scholarship. And I know, up there you can't carry as many guys. So, you'll need that versatility.
Yeah. And then Coach, talking about your program, I mean, I think it's important for these guys or for us and the fans even to know where these guys came from, to know where they could possibly go. They're in Kentucky, you inherited a 2-10 team. And then, 2016, 3 years later, you're in a bowl game. Then you have Josh Allen and Benny Snell lead you guys to your best year at that school in 41 years, beating the Gators for the first time in 32 years. I mean, you guys have done a lot of good things, including now you're the only school to have a linebacker drafted in the first round in the last 3 years, or in the last 5 years, 3 rounds of the last 5 years. Sorry. What is it that you guys have going there in Kentucky that is having such a great impact on that program and these young guys and producing guys like Jamin Davis, who entered college football not considered to be some of the cream of the crop in the country?
Well, we do take great pride in that. We have had 3 first rounders and all of them were 3 stars or below. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen was the National Defensive Player of the Year, and first round pick was a 2-star that we beat Mama College on. And then you got Bud Dupree and Jamin now. But we have quite a few linebackers that are doing good. Avery Williamson's having a great NFL career as well. And of course, Wesley had a great career. So, there's a lot of great players that have come through here. I think we have to credit our weight room guys. Our guys do a really good job of developing guys maybe that are a bit undersized, putting weight on, putting quality, good weight on them. So the weight room has been very helpful for us. Our position coaches have done a really good job. And the guys have done the work. That's the big thing. You look at a guy like Jamin and all of those guys you're talking about, whether it be Bud or Josh Allen, Jamin and many others. They're putting in the hard work. They're buying in. They believe in it. They work exceptionally hard. And, we'll have one next year from the D.C. area, Josh Paschal. Josh is going to be he'll be an NFL player. He started an outside linebacker for us, but he's putting on that quality weight, moving inside, very athletic young man. He's going to have a big year for us here this upcoming year. And maybe we'll jump on here next year and talk about it because he's from the D.C. area, and I'm sure he'll be an NFL player.
That would be awesome. Coach Mark Stoops with us here of the University of Kentucky. Nice enough to give us a few minutes along with David Harrison. I'm Chris Russell. Coach, Greg Minuski joined your staff before this year, and he was the defensive coordinator, of course, here in Washington, a longtime NFL linebacker. How has that transition been, for him, and how and like at your stage in your career where, you have 2 obviously former head coaches that are brothers, and you've been a head coach for a long time now. Do coaches still learn from other coaches, or is it kind of like, I know what I know, and, maybe just the kids kind of learn from a guy like that?
We're constantly learning. Definitely. Greg brings an awful lot to us. He certainly is a great benefit to our program in the staff room, in the meeting room. We're in there constantly, and to have a guy like Greg with the experience that he has, I love having him, in our program. He's a wonderful guy, very knowledgeable, and he's a lot of fun to be around. That's for sure. We spent a lot of time in here, and he's got a lot of stories that I love, but I love spending time with him, and he's been a great asset to our program.
Yeah, he loves the media too, right, Coach?
Yeah. He's fun to be around. Yeah.
Last question for me, Coach. Total of 5 Wildcats drafted this year, and potentially, you kind of touched it already, but even more potentially to be drafted next year if everything goes well. 2 guys landed in the division that Washington will play against with the Dallas Cowboys, most notably defensive back Kelvin Joseph. Can you talk a little bit about him and what does Washington have to face ahead in Kelvin being part of their division?
Yeah, Kelvin's very, very talented player, very versatile. He's a guy that has the top end speed to play outside and guard guys, but he also can move inside. He plays physical, so really does a lot of things well. Very talented player.
And Coach, just wrapping this up, I know last year was hard for everybody, and I don't know how you guys all got through it. I guess brighter days are ahead. Obviously, the future of this Kentucky program is pretty I think pretty bright. And I think everybody realizes the kind of job that you're doing. As you give us a kind of a quick outlook here, how optimistic are you about just everything being better moving forward in 2021 for not only college football, but also you and your individual program?
Well, I think, big picture, there's some people working extremely hard. I just literally walked off a Zoom with the SEC and the head coaches and the commissioner. We've been doing that weekly, and the commissioners worked exceptionally hard. Our league has done a lot of good things, so you have to credit them. And the student athletes, there's so many student athletes across the country that have sacrificed a lot, that come in for the weekly testing and really tried to socially distance themselves and sacrifice their college experience. I know our players really have. It was a very challenging year, but we're very excited about the future. I feel like we have a heck of a football team coming back. They worked really hard. We had a great spring, and the guys are continuing to do the right things off the field. So hopefully we'll get back to normal here real quick.
Well, Coach, we really appreciate you guys, making time for us, and Susan, who was instrumental in setting this up, and you, of course, your time and your insight is invaluable to us. We really appreciate it. Best of luck, obviously, moving forward this year in the SEC and with Kentucky. And again, thanks so much for sharing your insight on Jamin and others.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, and you got a great one in Jamin, so enjoy.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you.
Thank you.